Hello my dears, and welcome back to my corner of the internet. I'm Shannon. This back here, that's Bernard. He still is, my October co-host. This is his final voyage for the year, but he's had a great time, and he's been a pal, so thank you, Bernard. We will see you again next year. Anyway, recently I saw my friend Chloe's channel. Her channel is called Always Booked. She did this controversial book opinions tag, and I loved hearing her answers, and I wanted to share mine with you guys, and more importantly, hear your guys' answers as well. So don't forget to leave your thoughts down in the comments. We're just going to get right on into it and see, do our book views line up? Are you horrified with some of my answers? Because I know the first one is going to be a touchy subject for some people. And that is, number one, do you dog ear your books? I sure do. If I've got a bookmark within hand's reach, I will use it. If not, I have no qualms. Zero about dog earing a book. I will dog ear a book all day long. If I own it, obviously. I'm not dog earing a library book, or if you're my friend and you lend me a book, I'm not going to dog ear your book. But my own, absolutely. I like my books to look as lived in and loved as possible. And that includes dog earing them. So, there you go. I know some people hate that. Number two, do you annotate your books? I do, for some books. Most recently, me and my friend Krista, I know I talk about this all the time, but we have a bookish podcast on Spotify, which I will link down below. And when I'm reading the books for the podcast, I annotate the heck out of them. I got a bunch of sticky tabs, and I'll tab places that I want to talk about, and I'll underline them, and I'll make notes and things like that so that I can quickly find the things I want to talk about. When I'm just reading a book regularly, I don't normally annotate it, at least not on a first reading. If it's a book that I'm really struck by, or there are so many amazing quotes, I'll reread it and I'll annotate it then, just because I love picking up a book, bless you Trixie, and being able to quickly find parts that really moved me. Number three, do you roll covers or break spines when you read? Yes, I do. Like I said, like mentioned in the first one, I like a well-lived, well-loved book. I will crack those spines. If we're getting to the middle of the book, I will crack it, and I love it. I love cracking that spine. And in fact, it's why I prefer softcover books over hardcovers, because they're easier to crack. So, again, that one might be a little touchy for some people. But yeah, I love it. I will crack them, and I'll fold the book back when I'm reading the right-hand page. Number four, do you listen to something while you read? Occasionally. I prefer not to, though. I prefer to read in silence, because especially if it's a song I know the lyrics to, the lyrics are in my head then. And so it's harder to pay attention to what I'm reading, because now I'm singing along in my head. So I can read if there's music playing, but I don't put music on to read. If that makes sense. Do you read in the bathroom? Sometimes. Not so much now, since the coming of smartphones. Now I just kind of scroll my phone. But when I was a kid, I used to always read in the bathroom. I would read anywhere. So yeah, if I was headed to the bathroom, I'd take my book with me, and we would hang out in there. But yeah, now more or less I just stick to my phone. You know, unless I'm reading something and it's hard to put down, then I guess maybe it would come with me, but not often. Do you read in water, such as in the bathtub, in a pool, etc.? Not in a pool, because I don't have a pool, and the only pool here is a public pool where you're going for short amounts of time and there's a ton of other people there. Can you imagine? I should try that one time. Just show up to the public swim, whip out a book. I'm picturing myself doing that, and it's very amusing. I'm picturing what I would think too if someone else did it. If I saw someone else do it, I'd be like, yes, I get that. I can't imagine doing it though. In the bathtub, I have, and boy, I've paid the price. I once dropped a book I was very much enjoying entirely in the tub. Just devastating stuff. Do you DNF? Now, in case you're unaware, DNF means did not finish. Very rarely. Very, very rarely. And do you want to know why? Even if I am reading a book and I'm not overly enjoying it, I'm so nosy that I'm worried I'm going to miss out on something amazing. And now more than ever, I feel that because it's happened to me. I've stuck it out with books that I wasn't enjoying or were dragging on so long, and then the ending, the author just sticks the landing so good that I'm like, I could have missed that if I didn't finish reading this. So I guess it's my FOMO that keeps me from DNFing. There are plenty of times I get to the end of books and I'm like, I could have gone without that. More common is, say I'll be reading, I'm very much a mood reader. So say I'm reading a book and I can't get into it, I'll put it to the side knowing I'll eventually go back to it, and I pretty well always do. And often when I go back to it, I loved it. So I don't have it in me to DNF many books. I think there's been like one or two, but I can't even remember the titles. There's definitely been books I've been like, oh, wish I hadn't read that, but that's it. Do you ever read ahead or skip to the end of the book? I don't read ahead, but I always go to the end of the book and I read the final sentence. I just like to see what it says. Even though, so like I do that before I start reading the book, just because it's very rarely a spoiler because you don't know anything about it, but I love reading that last sentence right at the beginning. So I'll read the first sentence and then I'll flip to the last sentence and then I'll go back to the first sentence and start. Number 9, are you book polygamous, i.e. read more than one book at a time? No, mainly because I worry I'd get them mixed up. I probably wouldn't, because I mean, we watch, you watch multiple shows at a time. You watch an episode of this, an episode of that, and you can keep the story straight. I'm sure the same would work with books, but I just don't. Even right now, I'm reading The Shining, rereading The Shining for my podcast on Thursday, and there's been spooky books I wanted to read in the meantime, like while reading it, because The Shining is very long, and it's gonna take me. I'm 2 days in. I got 2 days left to read it, so I can't. No matter how much I want to. Number 10, do you own more books than bookshelf space? Yep. Yes, I do. I've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bookshelves. 2 are very large, and then 3 are smaller, and they are all full. And not only are they all full, they're double. Like every shelf has a back, like it goes along the back, and then another layer in front. So like they're double layered. So I need to, going through my bookshelves is at the very top of my to-do list, because I'm sure the books on the back, like in the back layer, I haven't seen them in years. I'm dying to know what's back there. So it's at the top of my list, but it's such a daunting task. Such a daunting task. Like, I know once those books come down, I'm looking at a good 6 to 7 hour project of getting them organized and getting them all put back on the shelf. And then also, I've got the idea in my mind, like, so when they come down, they're going to have to go back up 2 layers deep again. How do I decide what goes in the back? How can I have any sort of organizational system when there's 2 layers on every shelf? So I'm going to need to get new bookshelves, or more bookshelves, so I have a proper amount of space for these babies. And then I keep thinking, so a lot of time is put into thinking about redoing these bookshelves and not doing the bookshelves. If you get it, if you've got a lot of books, you get it. So I'm like, how am I going to organize them? Am I going to organize them alphabetically? Am I going to organize them by author? Do you want to do some sort of color-coded thing like you see the girlies do on Instagram? Do you want to do that? And then I get overwhelmed and I'm like, I don't know. Stop asking me. And I just, once Halloween's over, in November, I'm going to do these bookshelves. When I do, I'll make a video. I'll show you the process, perhaps. I'll give you a tour of all the books, and I don't even know how many there are. If I had to guess, I'd guess like, if I had to guess, I'd guess 600. And that might be lowballing it. I don't know. Is it a fly on me? No. Well, that was terrible. That was a fly. Oh my gosh. How is there a fly alive at the end of October in Alberta? Anyway, on that note, I'm going to go. We're done. And that was the last question. Anyway, in the comments down below, feel free to share your answers. And if you made it this far, leave a little pumpkin or a ghost or a vampire, something spooky. And I hope you guys have an excellent Halloween, because I probably won't see you between now and then. But be safe and have fun. And I will see you again real soon. Bye.